why you can't be emotional around women. This video could save your life, okay? Because you have to understand the dynamic between you and her. There can only be one person that's emotional, one leader, one follower, one non-emotional, one logical, one emotional. Guess which one you have to be? I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you what to avoid. I'm gonna tell you how to deal with it, because here's the terrible truth about dating. Women are ruthless. Women disguise themselves as angels holier than thou, innocent, soft, sweet. They're ruthless. And that's okay. You just have to understand that, right? I'm not saying hate women. I'm not saying don't date. I date all the time. I love women. Sometimes. You have to understand these things. You just have to understand their human nature. And here's the harsh reality. Let's say you have a death in the family, right? Probably one of the hardest things you can go through in life, arguably. And you're down and you want to cry. If you cry, she will only see weakness. No context. She won't see the context of the situation. She won't reason in her mind as to the justification of you shedding tears. Nope. None of that. She will only see weakness. And so if you do have to cry, go to your mom, go to be alone, right? Never, ever, under any circumstances, see it, because on an instinctual biological level, they can't grasp reasoning or ration. And so they can't say to themselves, in this situation, this 100% makes sense of why this guy is displaying this emotion. They don't have that capability. They only have the emotional instinct of weakness. They smell blood, which is terrible, but it's true. And that's an extreme example, but it also follows into daily conversation. It follows into intrigue and desire and pursuit. And so there's levels of emotion, right? You have obviously a very extreme level of emotion, which is the tears and the death and the mourning. But there's other emotions too, like anxiety. There's emotions like fear. There's emotions like worry. Basically any emotion that is not perfectly aligned with masculine faith and belief and forward motion is very repulsive to women because they're that way. And so there can only be one person that way. Does that make sense? Of course it does. So, for example, let's say you're having a tough day at work. Okay, you've had a shitty week, whatever the case is, and you're pissed. You're down in the dumps. You can't let her see that. You can't. You have to be the one poised. You have to be the leader. You have to be emotionally detached and not affected, because that is her role. And so when you go into her shoes and into her role, she's repulsed. She's not a lesbian. There can only be one person in the emotional ship. And so you have to be poised. You have to be stoic. You have to conceal your emotions. You just do. And I know the mainstream narrative is men should be able to display their emotions too, and toxic masculinity is bad. Okay, then you're gonna get cheated on, divorced. Enjoy. This is reality. We can't change their female nature. We can't change their female instincts. So you have to be able to detach. You have to be able to have behaviors and activities that you do so that you can either have an outlet for that emotion if you're feeling that way, or two, over time, just get better at repressing and find ways to have an outlet unattached from environments with her. So for example, let's go back to the work example, because I don't just want to give you the information, guys. I want to tell you the actual solution. Of course, the solution is not to show it around her and go do something else. But let's say work is really bothering you. You need to have things like hitting the gym really hard. Do some meditation. Go for walks without her. Spend time alone in solitude. Relax and calm yourself and come back to her more poised, more stoic, more relaxed, more in control. If you can't control your own mind, women will walk all over you. They won't be attracted to you. One of the most attractive components a woman has for a man is his mental frame. His ability to be poised through the chaos, through the storm, and just carry on. That is very attractive to women because it's the masculine frame, right? The men were the hunters, the gatherers, the front lines of the war. Women and children were in protection, right? They're hiding. Men are the ones overcoming their fear and doing it anyways. And so women, on a very instinctual biological level, expect that still in modern day. And so in the work example, in the family example, in any stressful, anxious situation, do the work anyways. Find ways to have an outlet: gym, meditation, breath work, calm yourself, come back stoic. That is the dynamic we have to maintain frame, because it's not like you're gonna cry and she's gonna leave you that day. That's not how it works. right? That's not how it works. But if you cry that day, she's going to look at you a little bit different. She's going to look at you a little bit different. And once that happens, the shit testing starts. Well, it's kind of always there, but shit testing, pulling away, different behavior, different mannerisms, different tonality, different wording. And that's how it starts. And so they don't leave that day. It's 6 months from them, but that day was a turning point. That day was an inflection point in their mind, and they can never forget it. They can never unsee these things. And women are unable to erase their mind of something they're stuck on. Unfucking able, okay? They literally will have it consume them, and they'll never forget it forever. So my advice, guys, find ways and find outlets for it. Be stoic, come back poised, come back. Never show signs of weakness, okay? And it's ironic because you're like, I love this person. I should be able to be vulnerable with them. No. Nope. Get that shit out of your head. That's bullshit, okay? It's a game of showing poise, concealing emotion, being a man, carrying forward no matter what's going on in your life. If you can't maintain that frame, the relationship will crumble eventually. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what else you guys want topics to cover on.